What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited because I'm finally going to be reviewing the TatiBeauty Blendifuls for you guys. I'm so excited. There was some ups, there was some downs. If you guys are interested in seeing how I got this whole face using these little gadgets, make sure you guys go ahead and keep on watching. Okay guys, so I have here my TatiBeauty package with the Blendiful inside, and I haven't opened it. So let's just go ahead and open it up and see what everybody's been talking about. Okay, so it just comes with like a little invoice paper, and this is what the package looks like. It just says Blendiful with your cleaning instructions on the back, and it says no harsh lines, XO Tati, cruelty free, vegan, made in China, blah 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 blah, all the things we already know about TatiBeauty's brand. So let's just go ahead and open it up. I'm so excited, you guys. I have been waiting for this for a while. So here we have the first little sponge. As you can see, it's about palm size. And it is pretty dense, but let's see in comparison to the other one. This is the other one, and this one is as big as my palm, as you can see. Please excuse my ugly nails, but yeah, so in comparison, this is the difference. And I can totally agree, this one is a lot. Not a lot, it is denser, but not like ridiculously super, you know, dense compared to this one. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it and see how this works. I'm a little bit nervous, so I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, because like she mentioned in her video, you're not supposed to use like really hydrating primer. So I'm just gonna take this one and just, I don't know, dip it in there, I guess. Okay, so right off the bat, I can see there's not a ton of product left on the sponge. And like the more that I brush out, there's like nothing coming on my skin anymore. But to be honest, I feel like my pores are not as minimized as they would have been when I use my fingers. I don't know, that's just me. But let's just keep going here and continue on to the next thing, which is our foundation. And the way that I do it is I like to pump it here. So I'm just gonna try to do everything the same way that I would on my regular everyday with like my Morphe sponge or whatever. So I'm just gonna do that. And I'm gonna do one pump for one side of my face and then another pump for the other side. So I am just gonna go ahead and go with the same side. Okay, so that was one pump on one side. I feel like there's not as much coverage, but I'm just gonna keep going because I did use it all up. And I'm gonna go in with my second pump. This is what the little sponge looks like so far. And I'm using like a patting, but also a little bit of a sweeping motion. And that is the second pump. So I've done the second pump now. And I'm gonna go in for a half of a pump just because I usually do this, and I actually did notice that the foundation went a little bit longer of a way. Like usually I do like half a pump here and half of a pump here, a pump here, and then like a half a pump here, but I also use the remainder to like finish the other rest of it, like give it a little bit more coverage. So I'm gonna go with like a couple drops, just a couple drops, less than I usually would, because I was actually able to do the forehead including with each side, if that makes sense. So I actually was able to do the entire half of my face as opposed to me doing like this part and maybe like up in the temples with one half of a pump. So I'm just gonna use a little bit to give a little bit extra coverage and see. It's just so much faster. It's like almost crazy to me. Like that's usually about the coverage that I go for, that I do. And it's like really, I don't know guys, I'm actually really impressed. I was a little bit skeptical because I was like, can we really trust that we're getting a real honest opinion? Since everybody loves Tati, but this is what it looks like. As you can see, there's not a bunch of product on there. And I do feel like most of it is on my face. So let's just keep going and see. We're gonna go ahead and take my concealer. And I'm gonna just do the same side, but I'm gonna pinch it this time because on a beauty blender, I would use the same side that I do my foundation with. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that because I don't see why not. So I'm pinching it like this, trying to get it as thin as possible to just get right in here. This part, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit awkward. I feel like I'm getting the coverage, but right here on my nose, especially on this side, because I have a little bit of more texture right here, it's almost like causing it to separate. I don't know if that makes sense, but, or I don't know if you guys can see it, but it just feels a little bit awkward. But I mean, other than that, it looks pretty similar, and it was, ooh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the concealer. I feel like with a beauty blender, I would almost have more coverage, or I don't know. Maybe let's just add a tiny bit more right here. Okay, that made it a little bit better. I do have to say, it does blend though, the foundation to the concealer like really nicely. Like there's no harshness or anything. It just kind of makes everything like melt together, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna continue to do a little bit on the forehead, down the nose, and a tiny bit there. It works really fast. And honestly, with the combination of a sweeping and kind of a patting motion, I'm not getting a lot of the streaks. But I do have to say, the sweeping motion doesn't really work for me. Like when I try to do it down on the nose, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's definitely streak marks. So you kind of have to do like a sweeping and like a kind of a patting at the same time motion. But other than that, that looks really good. I just don't know how I feel about the shape, but I guess I'm gonna take this bottom corner here and just kind of do the powder. And I feel a little bit weird because I'm the type of person that likes to pat with the beauty blender and then use a different sponge to go in with my powder like this. Ooh. To avoid the crease. That's actually really nice. I like the powder application. The only thing is that if you like to bake, like I like to bake sometimes, you don't really get that because it just pushes everything so nicely into the skin that you don't have that like cake on top, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to continue to powder the rest of my face with this little corner. And aside from my under eyes and my nose with the powder and the beauty blender, I do take a brush for the rest of my face. So this is kind of nice. It's like one thing, and I feel like it's not wasting any of my product. Like it's very abundant, if you know what I mean. Like it's not depositing like way too much to the point where like I have to keep dipping and coming on a different part of my face. It like deposits some of it, but you still have a little bit left here, enough to go on to a different part of your face, if that makes sense. And I like that. Like I only had to put on here once, and usually I'll like put on some, do the under eye, and then put on some more, and then finish powdering the rest of my face. And with this, it was like one and done, because the eyes was so, under eye was like so minimal, and I really do enjoy that. I feel like it's gonna make your products last a lot longer. And this is what that corner looks like. As you can see, there's not a lot of powder on it. There's not a lot of like anything on there. There's like nothing coming off of it. It's not like a powder puff where you like still have powder in the puff sometimes. And yeah, so I don't know, I really do like it. The only thing is that I'm kind of concerned because I use powder products when it comes to the rest of my face, like my bronzer and stuff, so that's going to be interesting. Let's just go ahead and get into that part. I also mix my bronzers, so that's going to be a little bit different. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and just start bronzing my face. That's a lot. Okay, so I'm going to go in with one bronzer first. And right off the bat, I can say this is a lot harder to control. Like, pinching it didn't actually give me the right aim, so I feel like now my contour is lower than I want, where I wanted to place it. So it seems like that's gonna have a little bit getting used to, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it on the other side. Also, on this side, I'm definitely dipping a lot less because I put way too much on this side, which I feel like also contributed to the fact that I was like aiming wrong, and you know, it made it harder for me to control it. And I did it again. I went down too far. Because when it comes to blending, like, I'm using the middle. Like, I'm applying it with this part, but I'm blending it out with the middle of the bronzer, of the puff, so it kind of spreads it out to the bottom. And I really don't know how I feel about that, but then I guess I can try to, I'm gonna try to bake with it after, which is what I usually do when I like feel like it was a little too much. But I mean, I guess it's not bad. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little bit on the forehead. So interestingly enough, I'm only using one bronzer today because it feels like this kind of is making your products concentrated when it comes to the powders. Like, I'm actually getting the pigmentation that I wanted off of this one bronzer, as opposed to like dipping into one bronzer and then darkening it up with a different bronzer. It's actually coming out like really good, which is really surprising because I never use just this one bronzer. Let's do the neck. That looks pretty good. The only thing is that I'm really trying to contour this with like an ashier tone, but I don't think that I'm gonna be able to do it with this. Not on a first try type of thing. So I think maybe if I pinch the middle. No, that wasn't working. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to take like the very, very tip of the corner and using like a very, very small amount. I guess that worked. I'm not gonna contour the nose with this because I already know like I'm not gonna like it. It's gonna be way too thick. But what I am gonna do now is with the tip of the powder, I'm gonna go ahead and try to bake or something. So you can do a little bit of a bake. It's definitely not like using a beauty blender type of bake. And I definitely did not do this in the right spot. But I mean, the bake is there. You just kind of have to use a lot of powder because I don't know why that is. But the next thing is I'm gonna try to do blush, and I'm just gonna fold it in half this way and try to use this little bottom part. So let's try to do that. Woo! That's not bad. I am going to try to do highlight now. And this is going to be interesting because you know how certain brushes don't put your highlighter on the right way that you want it to be? Well, I like a really intense highlight, so I'm going to use this side here between the powder and the foundation, and I'm going to use the edge to do the highlight. And that's actually not bad. I actually really like the way that looks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my brush to remove this and blend everything together because this is what I would usually do. Okay guys, so that is it for the application with the Blendiful, what is it? Blendiful, sorry, not Blendiful, Blendiful. I didn't end up using the little guy, but to be honest, from all the reviews I watched, this is like definitely just like a touch-up sponge, like a tap here on the go. So I will probably throw this in my bag because I do like it. Will I be using it to apply all of my face? Probably not, to be honest. But it did work. I have to be honest, it did work, and for $18 plus shipping, I think it was like $22 or something like that, but it definitely worked, and you definitely can do it. It does take a little bit of practice. I'm pretty sure this is not my best bronzing and contouring that I would like. I wasn't able to do my nose. I did go ahead and do that off of camera with my regular nose contour brushes, but that's totally fine. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me. I probably will be using this to apply foundation just because it's a lot more convenient than, like, you know, having to get up and cleaning your beauty blender and, like, you know, doing all that. That's a little bit of a hassle, and this is just so much more convenient to just like have here. You can take it on the go and actually pull on a whole face without having to take a bunch of brushes with you. So yeah, it didn't suck up a lot of the product. I noticed, like, there's not, like, when I swipe it, like, all of the product for the most part is on my face, which is like super, super awesome. You know, like, you know how much foundation that's gonna save you for a product to do that. I didn't even have to use the back of it. It has definitely enough real estate for you to do everything, like with the folding and the pinching and the bending and all that stuff. Like, it's really, really good. It's a little bit different, and to be honest, I don't know how much I'm going to be gravitating towards this, just because we're also used to the beauty blender or a brush or anything like that. And it is a little bit awkward in my opinion, to like hold and all the pinching and stuff. You do get like a lot of product on your hands, but I mean, with a little bit of practice and a little bit of getting used to, this is definitely a really good product. I really do like, I like the way that it looks, that it made my foundation look, especially the foundation. Like, the number one thing that I absolutely loved using with this, or at least like really enjoyed, was definitely the foundation, and secondly the powder. I think that was the pressed, not the pressed, the translucent powder that I applied all over my face. Those probably have to be the top two things. Everything else was okay. Probably prefer using a brush for my contour, my highlight, and my blush. But just those two things alone, I mean, what can I say? It applied it really nice. Definitely nicer than your beauty blender, and that in itself is a win already. So yeah, that's my final thoughts, you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do recommend trying it out. Not a must though. Definitely not a must for your makeup kit, but definitely do check it out if you would like. It is really good. It's fun to have like a new product like this come out. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys.